Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Napoleon I from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Napoleon I. It has been claimed, and with much just reason, as shown in his course of life, that Napoleon the Great was a member of the Brotherhood. Brother J. E. S. Tuckett, Transactions of Quatua Coronati Lodge, Volume 27, pages 96 to 141, 1914, arrives at the following conclusions. The evidence in favor of a Masonic initiation previous to Napoleon's assumption of the imperial title is overwhelming. The initiation took place in the body of an Army Philadelphia Lodge of the Écossais Primitive Rite of Narbonne. The third initiation of the Note Communiqué being an advancement in that rite. These initiations took place between 1795 and 1798. Brother David E. W. Williamson sends us a reference of value here. In his notes, pour servir Histoire de la Franc-Maçonnerie, Nancy Jusquin, 1805, Monsieur Charles Bernardin, past master of the lodge at Nancy, writing about 1910, says, 3 décembre, 1797, en place la visite du Général Bonaparte à la loge de Nancy. If this visit by him as a Freemason is a fact, we can limit to a narrow range the probable time when Bonaparte was initiated and thus support the claim of Brother Tuckett. Brother Tuckett's evidence is summed up thus. In 1801, that is, fully 2 years before Napoleon became emperor, a prominent Écossais, Brother Abraham, writes of the Masonic order as proud now to number the immemorial brothers Bonaparte and Moreau among its member. The official report of a Masonic festival at Dijon in November of the same year described Masonic honors paid to Napoleon and refers to the following scene here. Another official report of a similar festival at Montauban 11 days later describes Masonic honors paid to Napoleon and Moreau, and in the toast list their names occur with essentially Masonic embellishments. Moreau became head of the Army Philadelphians in 1801. The Strasbourg Lodge is said to have toasted Napoleon as a Freemason. The wording of the toast shows that this was before Napoleon became emperor. At the same period, a Philadelphia lodge, probably of the army branch, did exist at Strasbourg. In 1805 or early 1806, an eminent brother, Piron, then, or a few months later, a Philadelph, writing to another eminent brother, Eque, chief of the Philadelphians, claims Napoleon as brother of our right. Right referred to possibly Philadelphe, certainly an Écossais right. In March 1807 at Milan, in a lodge named in honor of the Empress, the mother of the Viceroy Grand Master at Milan, Napoleon is toasted as brother, emperor and king, protector. In 1816 appears a book of Confessions de Napoleon with an engraving representing the reception of Bonaparte by the Illuminati. In 1820 and again in 1827, an unknown author says it is certain that Napoleon underwent 3 initiations. The first, 1795, the reception by the Franc Juge Query Illuminati. The second, from description evidently an Écossais initiation, is placed between March 1796 and June 1798. The third, a Philadelph, more probably of the army branch, initiation at Cairo. In the same volume, Napoleon is made to say that he had been initiated into a secte des Égyptiens. In 1829, the Abbé Le Maconique, and in 1830, Clavel, state that Napoleon visited lodges in Paris incognito, unknown. From 1829 onwards, a number of writers repeat that Napoleon was initiated at Malta in 1798. In 1859, a correspondent of the Freemasons magazine claims to have known a French brother who professed to have met Napoleon as a Freemason in open lodge. Frost, in his Secret Societies of the European Revolution, London 1876, Volume 1, page 146, quoted Naudier's authority for the statement that the emblem of the Army Philadelphs was identical with that adopted for the Legion of Honor. The insignia chosen for the Legion consisted of a white enameled 5-rayed star bearing the portrait of Napoleon and a wreath of oak and laurel. Legend: Napoleon Empereur de France. On the reverse, the French eagle grasping a thunderbolt. Legend: Honneur et Patrie. The ribbon was of scarlet watered silk. Presumably, Frost and Naudier allude to the 5-rayed star derived from the pentalpha, an emblem found in all Masonic and related systems. The Emperor's brothers, the imperial princes Joseph, Lucien, Louis and Jerome, were all Freemasons, as was also his stepson Eugene Beauharnais, at first regarded as the imperial heir apparent. His brother-in-law Murat and his nephew Jerome, Joseph 1768 to 1844, King of Naples 1806 to 1808, King of Spain 1808 to 1813, nominated by the Emperor himself as Grand Master of the Grand Orient of France 1804. Louis 1778 to 1846, King of Holland 1806 through 1810, Grand Master Adjoint of the Grand Orient of France 1804, Jerome 1784 to 1860, King of Westphalia 1807 through 1813, Grand Master of the Grand Orient of Westphalia. His son Jerome was also a Freemason, Lucian 1775 to 1840, a member of the Grand Orient of France, Eugene Beauharnais 1781 to 1824, Viceroy of Italy 1805 through 1814, Grand Master of Italy and Grand Master of the Grand Orient of the Division Militaire at Milan 1805, Joachim Murat 1771 to 1815, King of Naples 1808, Senior Grand Warden of the Grand Orient of France 1803, Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Naples 1808, Grand Master of the Order of Saint Joachim 1806. The Empress Josephine is known to have been friendly to Freemasonry. She was initiated into the Magonnerie d'Adoption in the Loge Les Francs Chevaliers in 1804 at Paris, together with several of the ladies of her court, and became an active member as well as patroness of that rite. Those who were chosen by Napoleon for high honor and office in the state were nearly all of them members of the craft and higher degrees. Of the 6 who, with the Emperor himself, formed the Grand Council of the Empire, 5 were certainly Freemasons, at their head being the Arch-Chancellor, Prince Jean-Jacques Régis Cambacérès, the Emperor's right-hand man, and in his time the most active, enthusiastic, and indefatigable Freemason in France. The 6th, the Arch-Treasurer Lebrun, formerly 3rd Consul, is also believed to have been of the craft, but it is not certain. Of the 9 lesser imperial officers of state, 6 at least were active Masons. Of marshals of France who served under Napoleon, at least 22 out of the first 30 were Freemasons, many of them Grand Officers of the Grand Orient. The union of all the separate and often mutually hostile rites in one governing body was from the first the project of Napoleon. Mackey relates that during the consulate, Napoleon threatened to abolish Freemasonry altogether unless this was accomplished. Late in 1804, at the request of Cambacérès, he interested himself in the reorganization of the Grand Orient, with the result that in 1805 the Grand Orient assumed control over the whole body of Freemasonry in the empire, with the Emperor's brother Joseph as Grand Master, with Cambacérès and Murat as his Grand Master adjoints. Through Cambacérès, the Emperor assured the brothers of his imperial protection, stating that he had instituted inquiry into the subject of Freemasonry, and that he perceived that their highly moral aim and purpose were worthy of his favor. Louis Napoleon III was a member of the Supreme Council of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of France. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.